In business as well as in our personal life, we have breaks and accelerators, right? We have things that will make our business move faster, our business move slower. There's things that will make our personal pleasure and joy move faster, and our personal pleasure and joy move slower. And I want to talk to you today a little bit about how these things fit together. So it's common that I will talk about the impact of pleasure on business. And this by no means is saying that, we can just live in the state of orgasmic bliss and have pleasure all day long, right? That's not what I'm saying here. Business and pleasure, what I'm saying about the relationship is when we are doing things that are pleasurable, when we're doing things like having intimate relationships, when we are doing things like hugging a friend, when we are petting a dog, we're doing things that are releasing the pleasure hormone oxytocin. Oxytocin has been linked to doing a wide variety of things. Like one of the things that it'll do is it'll help with social connection, it'll lower stress, but it's actually been shown in some research studies to even help with things like Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia, as well as helping with memory in general. So one of the reasons these things around making our accelerator towards pleasure is so impactful from a health as well as a business perspective is really due to some of the neurochemical relationships behind inducing this hormone. So there's this great book that I love. It's called Come As You Are. I highly recommend it. And this book is amazing at talking about with pleasure, the brakes and the accelerator system. So in this book, Dr. Natalie talks about how we have these brakes around inhibiting us from moving forward with intimacy, and these other things are these accelerators that move us forward with intimacy. The same thing applies for business. So in business, we have brakes and we have accelerators. So there's things and there's choices we can make that will move us forward. Now, too many times, people press on the accelerator and think that they're going to press on the accelerator by doing a bazillion things. So we're on every social media platform. We're trying to write a bazillion blogs. We're trying to do a bazillion podcasts. And what winds up happening, unless we have a huge team, is that none of them get done very well. And so what seems like the accelerator actually leads into overwhelm, and overwhelm is a break for most people. So we want to be very careful in the choices we're making for our days and for our business, how to set up and how to orient our day to say, if I get overwhelmed, if I try to really accomplish these 20 tasks in this day, is that going to actually accelerate my business? Or am I going to actually feel so overwhelmed and so disconnected from my audience and the material that I'm actually going to inhibit my business growth by overdoing it? And I would be better to do less work at higher quality and taking some time to enjoy, to get myself in that pleasure state where I can remember people's names, where I can make those social engagements, where I can make those connections and really show up to my community in a way that matters, right? These are really important questions. So as you build your content, as you build your schedule, think about what you're doing in business, think about what you're doing in life from this break and accelerator type of way. So as you're building out your schedule, yeah, it's good to get a lot of things done and it feels amazing and we totally get a dopamine hit every time we check things off our checklist. That's great. And at what point are we actually taking ourselves out of that pleasure-driven state that's going to negatively affect our memory, negatively affect our social connection, negatively affect our ability to truly show up for life, and negatively therefore affect our quality? So one of the things I really encourage you when you're really building out your schedule for your business, your life, really think about where is that point where it becomes not pleasurable. Because that point where it becomes not pleasurable is connected neurochemically in your brain to where you are probably not going to have your neurons firing in the same sort of way, enjoying the process, and therefore getting the better outcome. So I'm not saying not to push, right? There's definitely times to push. But we want to orient our calendars to say, okay, if we have a really busy day and we're tasking, we have to get all these things done, Where is that time that we're actually going to take a step back and come back to the pleasure joyous center so that we can attend to the work again? And this is super essential. It's not just about pleasure in business. It's actually about neurochemistry. It's actually about the impact that when we make certain choices, when we decide to take time for doing things like having a hug and some times with our friends, like having intimacy with our partner, having some time taking our animals for walks, whatever it is, when we decide to do these activities, that they are actually, from a chemical perspective, impacting our memory, impacting our neurons, and therefore impacting the quality we have on our work. So if you're somebody that's type A, that's like me, that has a tendency to just want to task all the time, one of the ways to motivate yourself to stay more balanced with this is to actually understand neurochemically what's happening, the way we change our hormonal levels when we take the time off and when we take those breaks and when we are intimate and all these things, because that comes back and actually taps directly into the way we work, the way we produce, and the quality through which we show up in the world. So for more mindset tips like this, please subscribe to this channel. I'm Dr. Diane Mueller, health expert and feminine business coach. I'll see you next time.